Hi guys, welcome to my channel. I'm Satomi and this is Lucky, my sweet, beautiful little dog who loves to be in my videos with me. He's with me all the time. He follows me around the entire house. I don't have 1 minute alone and I love it. Anyways, today's video is how to live clutter free. So I'll be sharing 10 tips with you on how you could live clutter free. These tips are simple and doable. I'm all about keeping it simple. I believe that if something is simple, you'll do it. And if it's complicated, you won't. I believe that to my core. So if you're interested in learning how you could live clutter free, then just keep watching. Okay, tip number 1, have less stuff. Guys, we cannot get around this. We have so many categories of items in our house: clothes, shoes, dishes, cookware, toys, blankets, etc. And you just can't have a lot of all of these items. So here's my secret. This is what I do. I pick and choose what to splurge on. So for example, I love shoes. I have a lot of shoes. I choose to splurge on shoes, but I don't have a lot of accessories. I have maybe 4 pairs of sunglasses, not 20. I know a lot of you have like 20 pairs of sunglasses. I have only a few belts that I use over and over and over again. I have 1 fedora hat, I have a couple baseball caps, but when you look at all of my accessories, all of the items are limited to maybe just a few of each item. Another example are my pots and pans. There's one brand of pots and pans that I love using, so I purchased a few pots and pans from that brand and I got rid of all of my other pots and pans. Now, you know, we could have like 4 pans, 3 pots, and when you're cooking, at best, you're using 1 pot for a 1-pot meal, or let's just go crazy and say you're using 1 pot and 1 pan. You're never using all of your pots and pans at the same time, so why are we storing them? We all only need maybe 1 or 2 pans, maybe 1 pot. So the example here is I chose to splurge on shoes and I chose to cut back on my pots and pans. Again, you can't have a whole bunch of everything in your house. Pick and choose what you want to splurge on and cut back on other things. When you pick and choose what to splurge on, you have less stuff, but you have more of what you really want. Tip number 2, declutter in small amounts. Instead of trying to take on a big decluttering project, just work on a small decluttering project. I mean really small. For example, instead of saying I'm going to declutter my entire closet, you could say, today I'm going to declutter my jeans. That sounds way easier and you're more likely to do that today. Then tomorrow you could declutter your sweaters, and on. Eventually, after an entire week, you'll have decluttered your entire closet. And this same rule works for every area of your house. Instead of saying, I'm going to declutter my entire kitchen, you could say, today I'm going to declutter a drawer in my kitchen. The next day, it could be a cupboard in my kitchen. You could say, instead of I'm going to declutter my entire pantry, you could say, I'm going to declutter a shelf in my pantry today. I'll declutter another shelf in my pantry tomorrow. By doing this, you're breaking down a big project into small bites that are doable and that you will actually do and not put off for next week or next month, and sometimes never. Tip number 3, if you're not using it, get rid of it. Guys, your house is not a storage space. You should not be storing things in your house that you are not using. You should only have in your house the things that you actually use. By doing this, you're allowing yourself to have the opportunity to turn your house into your own oasis. And the size of your house does not matter. If you have a smaller space, then you have to have less stuff. Or you could pick one room in your house, maybe your living room or your bedroom, and turn that space into your own oasis. Don't store things on the floor or around the room. Pick up on a daily basis so that when you're in that room, you feel at peace, you feel cozy and comfortable. It's so important to be able to enjoy your home. And I know it's possible because I've lived in a tiny apartment, I've lived in a very small house, and today I live in a fairly large home. But in all of the houses, I was able to create a cozy oasis for me and my family, and it's because we did not have a lot of clutter. Tip number 4, buy quality and have less versus buying a lot of junk. Now, this is an area where you could choose how this works best for you and your family. I'm a big believer in shopping cost effectively and making your dollars stretch as far as possible. I do not believe in wasting money or being careless with your money, but I do believe that there are some things that are worth paying more for the better quality. For example, my pots and pans. I choose to pay for quality pots and pans. Because of that, they are more expensive. But in the long run, are they? You know, I've had so many pots and pans before where it's so easy to scrape the pan and it's ruined, or the handle is getting loose and it's, you know, kind of wiggling around. And then those pots and pans I have to throw away and I have to buy new ones. So that's kind of spending money over and over and over again on the same junk, when if I just purchased something of better quality, something that might be more expensive the first time, but it lasts year after year after year, it's worth it to pay more for better quality items in some cases than it is to pay less and buy junk. For me, the same goes for shoes. I prefer to buy quality shoes because to me, they're more comfortable, they last longer. I don't have to worry about rips or getting holes or anything breaking off of the shoes, which I have experienced in the past. So think about what you would consider paying more for to have better quality. Tip number 5, keep only one of what you use infrequently. For example, a bread loaf pan. If you only bake a loaf of bread during the holidays, then you don't need to store 3 or 4 bread loaf pans in your cupboard. But maybe you're saying, I bake loaves of bread for a lot of friends and family during the holidays. I need to cook more than 1 loaf at a time. Well, then that's so simple. Just go during the holidays and buy the tin loaves that you could bake in, and then you could wrap that up with a cellophane paper and give it as a gift in the pan, and just keep one pan for you and your family. The same goes for bundt cake pans. You don't need 2 or 3 of those. We really only need 1 loaf pan, 1 bundt cake pan, if that. Remember, you could go to the 99-cent store or the Dollar Tree store and buy the tin foils that you could bake in, and you don't need to store any extra pans. And think of other items around the house that you just have too many of. So, for example, bedding. I only have bedding that is a full set. So it has to have the fitted sheet, the flat sheet, the 2 pillowcases, and that is a set. If it's missing any one of those pieces, I get rid of all of it and I'll just purchase a full set of sheets. There's no reason to hold on to items in your home that don't have all the pieces. This is where we start really cluttering up our closets and our cupboards and our drawers. We hold on to things that are useless, that we don't need, or that are no longer functional for us. Or even blankets. Do you have 10 blankets in your house, but your family always reaches for those 2 or 3 blankets? Well, then keep those 2 or 3 blankets and donate the rest of your blankets. You're not going to use 10 blankets at one time, probably ever, unless you are a parent unless you're parents of 8 kids. You know what I mean? Tip number 6, consider buying books on Kindle. So I know this could be difficult for people who love books. I'm one of those people. I love reading. I am always reading a book, if not 2 at the same time. But the problem with having a lot of books on your shelves is they collect dust. And they also take up a lot of shelf space that could be used for other things. So this is a change that I've made recently. I got a Kindle for Christmas. I think it was last year or maybe the year before. And I started purchasing books on Kindle. Now, I have certain books that I purchase the book itself because it's just something that I've got to have as a book. But a lot of books that I've been purchasing, books that I want to read, I just buy it on Kindle. I have a Kindle that has tons of books now, and I can read any one of them at any given time. If I'm traveling or if I'm on a plane or if I'm somewhere else, I could take this Kindle with me and I have tons of books to choose from. But most importantly, I'm not collecting book after book after book. Most books you read once and you will never read them again. Of course, there are always those reference books that you always like to go back to. There's books that I have that I'll read once or twice a year, or maybe once every 2 or 3 years, just to reference and remind myself of things that I want to put in my head and in my mind. But for the most part, books are those things that you read once and you never pick up again. So we don't need to store tons of books in our house because that just creates clutter and dust. By buying books on Kindle, you eliminate so much clutter in your house and you free up shelf space for other things that you could use that space for. So I would highly suggest considering buying books on Kindle instead of buying them in manual form. Tip number 7, get rid of your DVDs and CDs. Okay guys, we are now a streaming world. We stream what we watch. We stream music. We watch Netflix, Apple TV, Discovery TV. There is no reason to keep all of the DVDs that you don't even have a DVD player for. Or there's no reason to keep all of these CDs that you could just stream and download on your phone. This is the type of clutter that really weighs you down. You're holding on to things that you really can't use anymore. Unless you're a rare few that might still have a DVD player or a CD player, then I understand totally why you're going to keep your DVDs and CDs. But I would even say to you, I would suggest thinking about transitioning into the 221. I'm not poking fun at you, but you know what I mean? It's like life is never going backwards. We're never gonna continue to make CDs or produce DVDs. I mean, life is going this way, so better to kind of jump on that bandwagon. But no disrespect meant to you if you still do have a DVD player and a CD player. But if you don't, get rid of them. Tip number 8, break down your boxes. Okay guys, so we are all Amazon shoppers, right? You get Amazon boxes probably on a regular basis, if you're me, almost every day. And those boxes create so much clutter in our homes if we do not take the time to break them down and get them out of our house. Same goes for Costco boxes. So what I do every single time an Amazon delivery comes to my house is I cut open the box, take out whatever is in there, and then I literally break the box down into a flat box. And I always have one big box that I haven't broken down, and I just fill the big box with all of the broken down boxes. And that could be boxes from Amazon, boxes from Costco, or boxes from anywhere. And then once the big box is full, we take it out to the recycling bin and then we start a new box. But we do not have Amazon boxes or Costco boxes floating around our house anywhere. I'm telling you, if you could get into the habit of breaking down your boxes as soon as you get your delivery, you will save yourself so much space and you will rid yourself of so much clutter. Tip number 9, every time you open your fridge, throw one thing out. Okay, so this is not about cleaning out your fridge. Not at all. This is about building the habit of doing the simplest of things that over time helps you to have a clutter-free space. There will be those times where you clean out your entire fridge, you clean out your entire freezer, you clean out your entire pantry. But in this video, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking specifically about how you could have a clutter-free home by doing just the simplest of things and turning those little tiny things into a habit that eventually leads you into a clutter-free home where you don't always have to do those big projects. Starting small is key. Keeping it simple is key. Tip number 10, living clutter-free is an ongoing process. Remember, living clutter-free doesn't mean that you go around your entire house and declutter everything everywhere one time and one time only. No, it's a process of decluttering regularly. It's a way of life and it takes practice. That's why I am so much about keeping it simple and starting small, because I know that when you start the small things and that becomes a habit, then you can add on more small things. And over time, all these little small things turn into a big way of living your life. And I so want you to be successful at living clutter-free, because I know how important it is to our state of mind, our mental peace, our comfort, and just enjoying life. It's extremely difficult to enjoy life when you're surrounded by clutter. So starting small and recognizing that it's a process that you are constantly doing will lead you to success, will lead you to living a clutter-free life, will lead you to a clutter-free home, and ultimately, which is the most important to me, will allow you to live with a clutter-free mind and a clutter-free spirit. Okay, so I have one bonus tip for you guys, and this is one that I love because it is so easy. I believe everything I've shared is easy, but this one is so easy. So for the days that you are feeling lazy and you are feeling unmotivated, here's what you do. You grab a trash bag and you walk into one room of your house and you put 10 things in that trash bag that you're gonna throw away. And then you put that trash bag somewhere. Then the next day, you walk into another room of your house and you throw 10 more things away. And you do that every single day until that trash bag is full, and then you take it out to the trash can. Now, I am telling you, you might not think that this is like a big deal, but it is so rewarding to get things out of your house. And this is the most simplest way I could think of to do it. So just give it a try and see how it works for you, and then let me know in the comment section if it worked for you or if you did it. So those are my 10 tips to living a clutter-free life. I hope these tips are helpful to you. I know that these are super easy and super doable. This is exactly how I keep my house clutter-free. I actually totally live like this and do this. So I know it works. And if you'll just do it, I know it'll work for you too. I would love to know if you have a tip to help yourself live clutter-free. And if you do, please leave it in the comment section below so that I can get some more tips from you guys. I want to thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. If you enjoyed it, please consider giving it a thumbs up. And if you enjoy these types of videos, then don't forget to hit that subscribe button and that notification bell. You could follow me on Instagram at Satomi Christina. I hope you guys are all doing well, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!
'Cause you're a boss, baby, boss lady. Ain't no looking back, we walk it off, baby, in charge. Now we